سلام خوش اومدند من تیلور جونز هستم من زبان شناس هستم و الان ما با هم فارسی میخونیم و یاد میگیریم. Welcome to everybody. Anybody who is new to the seventh Study Persian live stream. I'm Dr. Taylor Jones, and I have been studying. Just got my little I'm live notification. I've been studying Farsi for 7 weeks now. I've studied a little bit before this, but never systematically. Mostly just kind of poking around. And so this has been an aggressive 7 weeks so far. And I have good news. So hi, everybody. I see Kendroslav, Salam Dodosh, Hope, hello. Vincent, I think let's go. The sort of hortative is Berim. We can review that. I think I'll be reviewing that a little bit today. Basically, if you're new here, I've been studying Persian for about 7 weeks. I have good news for everybody, which is that I am now, this live stream set up, my whole plan about going to Tehrangelis and trying to speak Persian with real people in the real world to shock natives. Not really shock natives, but to actually demonstrate, a pathway of learning. I have been picked up by Italki again, and so they're going to sponsor a video later on after I go actually use it. So I'm going to have a couple of lessons on Italki in addition to using the textbook that I've been using. There's a link in the Dark Man. I see where your head's at. I'll get to the coffee in just a second. So there's a link in the description for the textbook I've been using. I've been using the Colloquial Persian from Routledge, Volume 3, or third edition. There is a fourth edition. I'm using the third. So if you want to follow along, you can always pick that up with my Amazon affiliates link. If you don't use my link and you get the fourth, that's fine too. You'll probably learn Persian. So this is excellent. Now, I was asked about coffee. I always have coffee. This is my my mug from. This is Be Bold, Live Inclusively. This is from a diversity, equity, and inclusion conference years ago in Minneapolis. And it is the Birch Ethiopia Nsebo, which is a natural wash process from Ethiopia. It is fantastic. This is my second one today, so it'll be the last one. Probably a little dehydrated. I see in the chat the fourth edition doesn't seem to be any different from the third. Hopefully, I think there's a couple of exercises that I noticed, like a mistake or something, or a typo, and little things here and there. But it's actually, this is great if you have the fourth edition and you're following along. If you don't, then I guess use my Amazon link and I'll make a fraction of a cent on the third edition. So I have see, for what it's worth. Oh, good. Vincent, that's excellent. Sorry, you said when you bought the fourth, you clicked my link before buying it, so that should give me the affiliate money. That's excellent. It's really, I don't think it's enough to worry about, so I really appreciate that. But on the other hand, if you had not, it's like it's completely fine. Give me 1 second. This is excellent. This is really good. I'm a huge fan of Birch coffee. Their roasting is excellent. I've been dumping a bunch of words into Anky. Anky works for me. The spaced repetition works for me. I've also been, just as an update, I've been listening to some podcasts. There's one, there's two that I really like. They're both versions of like story time in Persian. I'm not getting a whole lot of them, like what they're saying, but I have one. Let's see. There's Ravi, if you can see this. It's about an hour and a half every episode of Persian. I think this story is about a woman who, I guess, was adopted and found out later in life and wanted to find her birth parents. I'm not 100% sure because my Persian's not at that level yet, but I am picking up little bits here and there. So I'm listening to it when I'm, chasing after our baby, and it's something where I'm finding, I've in some ways criticized the just input hypothesis, just listen to nonstop, target language, podcasts, movies, everything. But at the same time, I think it does really help. And there's it feels like your brain just kind of lights up. So for me, it's like noise, 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 and then boom, words I know, which is great. I'm also hearing things that are new combinations of things. So I learned in the textbook how to say on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side. So dar tarafe chap on the left, dar tarafe rost. And I've obviously learned mother and father. In this podcast, I heard them say dar tarafe pedareman, right? And on my father's side. So that's cool. That's I understood the words. I thought, okay, this is an interesting new construction that or new chunk that I hadn't heard before. So I've been doing that. I listened to One More Chine Conversation. I have a love-hate relationship with them. I think one thing that I would do if I were going to really focus on Chine Conversation is to, if you haven't heard of it, it's a podcast with, I think it's Layla and Matt, and they teach you Persian. Layla's teaching you Persian, Matt is learning along with you, maybe a little behind you. Hard to say. It's the first ones, the early ones are rough going. For Matt, that is. So anyway, I listened to one that was, going to a restaurant, and it was nice because I actually really understood a lot of it from what I'd seen in this textbook. So it was reinforcing it, slightly different structures, a lot of the same vocabulary. It was great. If I were going to use that, I would do the same thing that I'm doing with the audio from this textbook. I would take the dialogues that they have, and I would just be breaking up the audio in Audacity, dumping it into Anky, and then using that for flashcards. Speaking of flashcards, I'm going to be doing a lot more of flashcard making today than I have in past weeks. We have gotten mostly to the end of this textbook. We have gotten mostly to the end of this, the end of this, 2-month journey. I will probably continue. I mean, I'll definitely be making more live streams once I get back from my safar de California. Dar California? Yeah. But once that happens, I'll either be making more Persian content or I might be switching to other languages that I'm studying, along with other live streams. So you can let me know in the chat what kind of live streams you want. I was going to make just regular Q&As coming up, and I also wanted to do a reaction to the American Dialect Society Word of the Year nominations. There's a lot to discuss there. Beyond just what the nominations are, but also about like the structure of the American Dialect Society, its history, how these things get nominated, and how they dominate a news cycle. I figured I'd wait until they weren't dominating the news cycle, which maybe isn't the best YouTube algorithm choice, but I think it's probably better to wait and then take a look at them all together. Zevel, is that Ahlan in, or is that Ahalon, or is a word I don't know? Let me know in the chat. I want to read that as like ahlan wa sahlan. All right, I see. Do you make Anky decks for different types of words or phrases? And Vincent gave me a correction, Bay California. So Ryan, I find Anky very effective, but I also find it a little there's too much choice for me. So as I'm going through, like in the last week, I've changed a little bit how I make some of these cards because they come up in a review and I go, oh, this would be better if it was this other way. So I find myself editing the cards as well. Zevel, okay, Ahlan. I didn't know that was also used in Hebrew. I'll find that out if I do. I might do one of these colloquial textbook speed runs in Hebrew in a couple of months. So, yeah, I'm gonna just get right to it. Let me move what the view is that you have. So, and I see, how long do I spend on Anky? I have, because I want to go there pretty soon, I have made it so that I can do something like 100 new words a day, and I'm dumping a ton of content into it. The way that I'm doing this for anybody who hasn't been in this channel yet is, let's see, I'm still on like chapter 6 in my Anky dump going on. So what I do is I read the textbook. I have a process which I'll go over it again real quick. So let's see, this is chapter 15, health and hygiene. And it says, here's what we're going to look at. Use polite titles, talk about ailments, ask a chemist for medicine or a minor illness, make it a major apology, and report what someone has said. So I can see here the grammar here is going to be reported speech. That's mildly interesting. But instead of like, listen to the dialogue and try to read it along, no, that is not the first step. They give it to you in this order, and it seems like this is an order that would make sense. It's not the way that I do things at all. So what I will do is read the dialogue in English so I know what we're even talking about. Then I might look at all the vocabulary, right? At that point, I might even walk away. I might quiz myself on the vocabulary later. I think Benjamin Keep, PhD, has a pretty good channel on YouTube talking about how to learn languages. Actually, not just how to learn languages. He has how to learn like anything. He's all about neuroscience. And one of the things is like walk away, test yourself, correct your errors, do it again, go. He has himself like juggling or something that he comes back and like, studying Chinese and really get that together. Then I might read the whole thing and then I might listen to it, or I might listen and read at the same time. Once I've done that, sometimes I listen, um, you know, I might listen to the dialogue a few times, maybe twice or three times in one sitting. Then I might be listening to it like when I'm on the subway or whatever else. But what I do more so than that is, let me see if I can. You should see my whole screen. I'll take a second and see. Yeah, okay. So what I will do is cut up the audio, dump it into an Anky deck. I will do close deletion cards. I will do just basic cards front and back. I use Gabriel Weiner's cards where he has like picture words where I think it's really good to associate a concept with a picture. And just whatever I think I need there. And then the other thing that I'm doing is I am going through, let's see, all of the exercises. Right, this noun derivation, I might take all of their examples and dump it in. So if I recognize the pattern, so chaste is tired, teshne is thirsty, gorosne is hungry, omade is ready or prepared. Seems related to having arrived or come, right? So chastegi, teshnegi, gorosnegi, amadegi, like that makes sense, but I might still make Anki cards for each of those. And then I'll mark them as good when they're good. And I just keep seeing some of that. It's just more and more content. I see in the chat, am I working on any other languages right now, and how do I find the time to do it? I am, and it's hard. I have to prioritize. So French, I believe the C2 exam is June, maybe July. No, I don't think it's July 14th. I don't think they would work on July 14th. So it's got to be June 14th. I was thinking about taking the C2 exam in French. I have just been, honestly, this is maybe a content stunt for YouTube. I've just been using Duolingo. I'm almost done with their French course. I can finish it by June. And, I've studied enough. I've taken the B2 10 years ago. So I'm thinking about just doing that and like reading, like French for reading, the book French for reading, going through that and making sure I have my like academic language together. That's basically it. I could probably do a practice test for C2. That would be the smart thing to do, but I don't know if I want to actually spend the time and energy to do it that way. And I do that when you say, how do I find the time? Our daughter is almost 11 months now, and she is in a stage where she will only sleep on one of us. And so we're taking, I'm lucky to work from home most of the time. My wife works from home most of the time. And so we're lucky to be able to alternate childcare and who takes naps and so on. So these naps, I might have an hour and a half in a dark room with nothing to do but my, AirPods and my phone. And that is a great time to bang out Anki decks. It's a great time to, use Duolingo. It's a great time to listen to podcasts. So there's a lot of time there that I can use if I'm smart. Now, sometimes I'm exhausted and I just watch YouTube videos for hours on who knows what. There's a great like history of Rome that I've been watching, but that's when I really can't stay awake. And then other languages, Hebrew's always kind of like I try to do a little bit a day, but that's like back burner right now. It's like I'm going to learn a new word, or I'm going to work on a structure or something like that, and that's really it. I'm not actively pursuing it. I'm just trying to keep it kind of slightly activated. The thing is, if you want to be one of these guys who speaks like 15 languages, you have to basically end up being like Alexander Argeles, who that's not for me. I don't have the time. I don't have the lifestyle. I don't have the ability to wake up in the morning and do a half hour of Swahili and then 30 minutes of writing in Arabic and then an hour of French and then switch it. Like, I just don't have that kind of time and energy. And frankly, I have other responsibilities that would prevent me from doing that, even if I wanted to. I see that a lot of discussion in the chat about huh. which is Yemenite Hebrew still has ha in like instead of chai they have hai, and ahlan. I think when you talk about closer or further back in the mouth, they're both actually produced in the same place, but one has um, one is sort of a default H, and one has a widening of the glottis, which feels like it's further back because you're doing a thing further back, but the actual airflow is in the same place. I'm taking a little excursion. So, is the Hebrew H similar to the hey? They're all IPAH. They're all ha. Just gonna drop that in there. The difference is whether you have ha and whether you have, like, in modern Hebrew you have cha, replacing ha. So that's ha aha, that really like widened glottis. All right, so a quick excursion into things learned in the sort of last few chapters here. Not a lot of really interesting grammatical stuff. They cover that in the first 12 chapters. And so I'm finding there's not a lot, except for a couple of really important things. So one is the other conditionals. I talked a lot last week about conditionals. The video is up if anybody wants to see that, and I'll probably make a YouTube video about conditionals. So they did the sort of what are called open or O type conditionals that are like future predictions. They did that in one of the last chapters. This chapter now has sort of counterfactual conditionals. They're sometimes called X type conditionals. They often use the past tense marking in what I think it's Sabine Iatridou, the linguist who works on this. She calls it fake past. And I think some other people call it fake past as well. It's fake tense marking. It's not actually past. It's because past is less real than the present, then it sort of linguistically, this happens across languages. It gets used in counterfactual conditionals. If I knew, I would understand. If I knew Persian well, I would understand what he says. But I don't, right? If I would if I could, but I can't, so I shan't. That kind of thing. That's the modern Major General speaking. I see in the chat, how do you improve your accent? And that's something that I am not sure that I'm the best person to talk about that, but what I try to do when I'm focusing on pronunciation. There's a couple of things. I mentioned this in a previous live stream. Native speakers, there's a ton of research that indicates native speakers really, really, really need you to have correct intonation. And then after intonation, the segments need to be correct. But you can actually get away with more of an accent if the rise and fall of your voice and the pitch and everything is more like the way that a native speaker of that language would communicate. So I can have my slight American accent in French if my intonation is good. If I get if I get the appropriate use of the intonation. As far as actually improving it, there's two things. One, IPA. Use the IPA, make sure you know what the sounds are, and then listen to what people actually do in fast connected speech. So one of the things that I've been doing in this textbook is recognizing that there's one of the women here who has an accent that is different than the one they're trying to teach us. I suspect it's sort of an Esfahani accent, but I don't know enough about Iran to know whether or not it is. But I'm noticing there's certain things where her O's are more ooh-like, and it's just very, very close. Now, you can shadow people. What I recommend, I use, if I really want to work on this, I'll use Prot, and I'll record myself, or I'll use Audacity and record myself and play it back. I'll use Prot and actually look at the spectrogram and see, like, did I actually make the same kinds of sounds that person did? Did I release the T forcefully enough? Did I, I don't know, was my tap too long and sounded like a trill? Or, you can really, really drill down into that if you want to, but it can be very, very, that's a whole world in itself. My goal is not to convince anybody that I'm somebody I'm not. So I'm fine with having a bit of an accent. I think for most people in most languages, they find that charming. If you can speak well, if you can speak clearly, if your intonation is correct, and if you can be understood, then you have a little bit of an accent. They go, oh, that's charming. But as far as like getting to that point, it's really, what are the sounds of the language? I use the IPA because it's just one symbol, one sound. That's my toolkit. And then what do people do when they're actually speaking it? Not what is it supposed to be by a classroom standard according to a textbook. Now, this textbook I like because it's colloquial. So it's really informal. And I really, really like that. So I see the talking about H sound still and the ka. That one, Zeva, it should be kuf, not the other ka sound. There's ka. And talking about hard H, can you fill a balloon with it? It's actually harder to because your glottis is wider, but it's harder to pronounce. As an aside, and I'll probably make a video about this at some point, I don't like when people say hard and soft, this and that and the other, because it is very difficult to know what they're talking about. And cross-linguistically, people use those things to mean opposite things. So if people's like, oh, it's a hard G, that might mean ga, that might mean ja, depending on who you're talking to. Hard H, I think most people might interpret that to be the ha, but you never really know. I've heard people talk about Q as a hard K, the ka sound. They're like, oh, it's the hard K. It's just all over the place. That doesn't mean ka is a soft K. In my thinking, a soft K would be cha, but it's just all over the place. All right, so let's get into this. We did the conditionals. That has sort of fake past. You notice a lot more vocabulary in these later chapters. It's like, boom, here's all the clothes. But it's also like chapter 13. 14 is services. Let's see, talk about things you had or didn't have to do. This one, the grammar, really the only thing in here is miche, which is it possible? And they say use the past stem. So miche ferestad, can one send it? Zevel, for you, this is the equivalent to like efshar with the infinitive form. So inja miche neshast, so can one sit here? Nushidani mishe board to cinema. Can one bring a drink into this theater? As in, like, is it allowed? So not super hard. They also add in here, I think, using shodan. No, boyad. For like, oh, it must be this, it must be that. You must have eaten this. That's fine. Not super duper interesting grammatically. Reporting speech is the grammar that was in the next one. This has all the body parts because you're going to the doctor and you're complaining about, you know, a runny nose and a sore throat and upset stomach, diarrhea. You know, fill in the song here. So they have some language and culture notes, and the main thing, I'm just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling before I get back to dumping things into Anky, is let's see, talk about feelings, all these parts of the body, which, like, just for historical linguistics reasons, this is great stuff. All the parts of the body, and then reported speech. And reported speech is really interesting because you don't do the same thing that you do in English. So they say, consider these sentences. Peter said, I'm ill, and Peter said that he was ill. Persian equivalent for B would be similar to A, only without the quotation marks. So you don't say Peter said that he was ill. You say Peter said that I'm ill. And many languages do this, but it's something that takes a little work for an English speaker to kind of wrap our heads around. We have to constantly be thinking about the time of speaking, right? Who's actually speaking? What is the speech that's being reported? So Peter said, Peter goft marizam. Peter said, quote, I'm ill. And you can also say, Peter goft ke marizam. Marizam, I guess. My A's are a little all over the place today. So he said you can say Peter goft marize. Peter said he's sick, but it's less likely. So this is a really interesting thing, and this is like you have to be paying attention. Now, an immediate question arises. My wife asked me this when I told her I was going to talk about this today. How do you say Peter said he's ill? Like, you know, Peter and I were talking about Paul, and Peter said he's ill, right? My understanding, and somebody can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, is that that's where a overt pronoun would come into play. So Peter said that, and then you actually use u, and so on. Oh man, Zevel, that's going to be a whole. I'll make a video about that. I see. What are the differences between Ashkenazi and Sephardi pronunciation? There's so many differences. They're both So, and this is liturgical Hebrew. They're both descendants of earlier forms of Hebrew, and then modern Hebrew is like modeled after Sephardi liturgical pronunciation, but it's not the same. And there's influence from different places. Like, there's a lot to get into. I promise you, it may be a few months, but I will make a video about that because it is its own world, and there's just a lot to get into there. Okay, so this is just reported speech. It's not just Goftan. You also get Porsid and yada, yada, yada. So that's fine. And then that's basically, like, for the grammar, we're about done in this book. It's chapter 16 or 17, which is like the last chapters in the book where they actually have relative clauses. And I did a sort of preview of that last week. I think it's chapter 17. I actually looked this up because I was thinking, I was like in the shower, I was doing what I do, which is like I'm in the shower and I'm thinking like, how do I say stuff? And I was kind of like running like a conversation in my head. I was thinking, how do I say, like, I've been studying Persian for 2 months. It's actually been 7 weeks. So, you know, hafte. And I was like, I'm not 100% certain. And so I ended up looking in here in the textbook. I searched for it, and it's in the very last chapter. I think it's like the last interview, the last dialogue, which is an interview. And here it is. Boom. Chand vakte ke farsi mikhunid. And he says, Ruye ham panch sale ke farsi yad migiram. And then he goes on to say, Se sol dar London va do sol ham to America. So it's been 5 years that I've been studying Persian. 3 years in London and 2 in America. Now, this is kind of an interesting structure. So Chand Vakt, I knew. How often was like early in the... Vincent, I'm not done. We're going to go back. You'll catch up. So Chand Vakt was like sort of how much time. I learned how often was literally how Chand Vakt Yekbot. Like how many times... how often, every I want to say like quando because or quand because chand is cognate with those. So how much time, one instance, you do this. I have a little flashcard for that in my Anky, Har Chand Vakt Yekbar. And I think the sentence is like, you know, Dar Landan Mirid or something. I have no idea. So this Chand Vakte, how much time? K, optional. Farsi mikhunid, you reading, learning, studying Farsi. And he goes Ruye ham, so all together. Literally, I think that looks like on top of ham, on top of both, right? On top of both. Panj sole. And the transcription, the transliteration here kind of masks this. Panj sol, 5 years, it is. Ke Farsi yad migiram, that I am learning Farsi. So this is similar to the way that French, for instance, does this. Like it's 5 years that I'm learning French. So I have to remember it's like present tense here. Instead of, you know, what is gerefte, right? It would be gerefte am. Like it's not that. So ruye ham panch sole ke farsi yad migiram. It's altogether 5 years. And then the a there is asked, right? It is. It's the verb to be. Ke farsi yad migiram. So now I can say something like, you know, all in all, right? Ruye ham hafte asked, because I don't want to say hafte a. So hafte asked ke farsi yad migiram. So when I go out to Tehran, I'm actually going, I'll be elsewhere on the East Coast first, with lots of good Persian restaurants there that I'm going to try. And then when I go out to Tehran, I'm actually going to be not in Tehran first, but I'll be in another part of California that also has a lot of Persians. So I'm kind of warming my way up, easing into it. But one of the things that I can do is do the math and say, like, you know, no, I guess at that point, how many weeks, I could say, do mohe ke farsi yad migiram, or no hafte asked ke farsi yad migiram, something like that, where I can talk about, you know, how much I've been studying Farsi. All right, so I see you wonder if Language Simp watches. We watch each other's stuff. we we give each other the views and the comments for the algorithm. Um, he actually inspired me to do this because he was doing his like live streaming studying German. And I thought you can just live stream studying. I was going to study a language anyway. You're telling me I can live stream it and then like it boosts the algorithm and I don't know. People leave super chat. Like, are you kidding me? It's been blowing my mind. I've been telling everybody for 7 weeks. I'm like, I'm live streaming studying Persian, and I know other people get something out of hearing a linguist sort of analyze and talk about it and so on. But like, I was just gonna do this anyway. Like 2 o'clock on Sunday, I was gonna have a coffee and study Persian. So the fact that I can do this now with something of community, and that other people get something out of it, it just kind of blows my mind. It's a really nice part about the internet age that I don't understand. But then again, I turned on the TV and it was like the Rugby World Championships where I think Italy was hosting England. And I saw the stands packed. I saw like they're talking about how much money changes hands in terms of like people watching this on TV and the sponsorships and all of that stuff. And I realized it's not that different. They're just playing a game that they like to do. They would have done anyway. Maybe they wouldn't have had millions of dollars doing it or millions of pounds doing it. But everybody's got something that they're interested in, and I think it's great that the internet has made it so that we can actually go to find things that we're interested in, and that we can do this. So this is great. I see New Jersey. I'm actually not. I mean, I'll be going through New Jersey, but I'm very serious about my OPSEC. So you'll notice I have never said exactly where I'm going to be or exactly when. I made that mistake once, and I'll give you story time, and then we'll get into Anky Dex. So I went to the University of Toronto. I studied East Asian Studies. I did a specialist degree in China Studies. I made the mistake, which I regret, of doing a 5-year program in 4 years, and I thought like, I'm exceeding expectations and whatever. And it's like I realized, university, because they don't call it college there, but university was great. And another year of just study and like that kind of lifestyle would have been great. But whatever, I went straight into the real world after that. Years later, I went back. So I used to hang out at a cafe called Crêpe à Gogo. The woman who owns it is fantastic. Her life story is just incredible. She's the voice of Air France for a while. She just really, really interesting person. She knows everybody. So like I'd be there, hanging out, not going to class, studying stuff that I wasn't even taking a class on. And she'd be like, that guy, that's the architect who made the new opera house, or that's, such and such famous hockey player, or that's the, the provincial governor, or whatever. Like it was crazy. She's very, very well connected. So I used to hang out at Crêpe à Gogo. And I made the mistake when Facebook was new, and I had, recently graduated from college. I posted on Facebook that I was going to Toronto, and I said like when. And when people like post their flights and everything, they have like, so and so is flying to such and such place. It's like they have it right there. I did that, and when I landed, I went to my friend's place first. I dropped my stuff off, and I was like, I'm gonna go see Veronique at Crêpe à Gogo. And I go to Crêpe à Gogo, and there's somebody there who I saw around the East Asian Studies department, but they had been like in a different program, and like, I did not know them well enough for this to happen. And I walk in, and they look at me and they go, "You're late." And I definitely just noped it. I was like, you know what? Actually, I got a thing. And like went back later to talk to Veronique. But this was something where like I learned from that. I was like, I am never putting where I am, because I got lucky. That was just like I think severe social awkwardness, or like inability to kind of read between the lines socially. But I'm not playing that, especially the way the world is now. I'm definitely not. So you all know that I'm going to be going to California at some point. This is true. I'll be going elsewhere, and I'll tell you after I've gone all these places. I'll tell you where I went and when it was and how great it was, and there'll be a video about it. But beforehand, I love you all in the live stream. I think I'm almost up to like 60,000 subscribers, and I have no idea how many people actually watch the videos. It's too many people. Like, I want more subscribers, but it's a lot of people to say where I'm going and when. I don't need that in my life. You're all great, I'm certain, but I don't need the rest of that. I see in the chat. That's weird. Yeah. Also, Yod Gereftan. I always think of that as like to grab a memory, right? Gereftan is related to is cognate with grab, I believe. Gera, puff, kind of usual stuff. All right, so I have gone back to Unit 6. Let's see where I was. Let me get my Anky here. I've just been doing basic cards. Let's look at my history. So, Mahnaz dare pesarasho be. Okay, so now I know where I was. They're using, let's see, teaching the future simple, the present continuous, boom, boom, boom. I added these. So, doram kam kam bidormisham. This stuff they haven't taught elsewhere in the textbook, but in the example you have, I'm slow, I'm gradually waking up. I'm kam kam, I'm a little, bidormisham, waking up. Al-an dori chekar mikonin, al-an they teach here in this exercise. So I just added that, and we're getting close to where I caught up to. But there's little words here and there. I really recommend if you're using any of these to do the exercises, check the exercise in the back of the book. There's all sorts of new vocabulary here. I learned renting an apartment here. So like exercise 5, I think is where I just finished that. This is number 16. This was the last one I did. So I'm just dumping these in. It says, can you say this in Persian? Now what I do is I actually try to do it as I'm making the cards. So how long will you stay here? I say chand vakt inja mimunid, right? And then I go take a look and see if that's correct. And we'll take a look here. I have another thing open, and in fact, it is chand vakt inja mimunid, with obviously not that intonation. So I have this open in 2 different PDF viewers just so I can do this. And, go through that. But I got to number 4, I'll rent a flat. And I'm going, wait, I haven't seen that. So, yek apartment ejare mikonam. Ejare. I'm trying to think of a mnemonic for ejare. Nothing really is coming to mind. I keep thinking of like renting a jar or something with the letters A on it. That's not a great mnemonic, but it'll have to do for me. And some of these, like, Mahnaz is taking her son to school. That's great. I've seen a couple of different ways of talking about this weekend, which did not necessarily clarify. So there's a disagreement about what this weekend versus next weekend is. Some people say next weekend to mean the weekend that's imminent and coming, and some people say next weekend to mean the weekend following that one. Especially when we're in a weekend right now, it's going to be confusing to people. So if I say, what are you doing this weekend? Today's Sunday, where I am. You may then think that I mean, what are you doing for like the rest of today? And in Iran, of course, the weekend's different days, so that's a whole separate thing. But this did not clarify, basically, is what I'm trying to say, because they had in akhare hafte in this example, and they've had akhare hafte ayande in other examples. Now, ayande is related to is it avordan, to come. So that one is like the coming weekend. I think that makes a little more sense than next weekend, but it's still a little ambiguous. All right, so I got to dialogue 2, going through customs. And you'll notice, I mean, I talked about Unit 6 already, but what I'm doing now is just dumping in Anky. The audio here, we're going to have some fun listening to it, and then I will keep just dumping the vocabulary in. And I might want to just do the vocabulary here first. Maybe I'll do that. Let's do this. We'll just do cards for each of these, and then I'll do sentences with closed deletion. So it's just a lot. This is getting that like comprehensible input in as much as I can. I see in the chat, good mindset, don't owe your viewers anything. I've heard discussion about parasocial relationships, and there's like the inverse of it, and I don't remember what they call it, where it's like the YouTubers like need the viewers' attention. But I think everybody on this channel, we can have a pretty healthy relationship where we're aware of like what our relationship actually is and what it isn't. I see safety first. Yeah, thank you. I see Persian speakers have asked me the difference between get and take, because get F10 handles both semantic situations. That's really helpful for me to know. Take, do they use like bordan to mean more like amener or umene in French, like to bear someone or something to another location, right? Whereas like get F10 is like to grab, to snatch up, what is it? Dar, to pick something up. It's not dargoshten. That's to return. But the vocabulary is rattling around. I need more Anky. Hank Green calls it Saraposhal. I love that. I love that. It's a spoonerism. Okay, so let's do this. Chamdun. So Chamdun. Again, as a review, I am using transliteration because it's really easy for me to just not worry about anything else. I'll do a little thing. This is I'm not set on which side I should actually have the pictures when I do it like this. That's another link. I don't want a shopping link, but I want that picture of a suitcase. It's a really good suitcase. I was looking at a picture of an old-timey suitcase here. You can see this. I want this one. Let me open the link in a new tab. I'm taking longer than I should in this, but that's like, come on. That is your classic Chamdun. I think I'll do it. I've been alternating how I do these. I think I'll do it with the English here because I'm going to look at that and be like, that just means suitcase. That's obvious. I like having the picture because it does really reinforce the vocabulary. I like sometimes when I can't think of something, I can think of the picture and then I can think of the word, which is wild to me. Bardoshtan, there it is. Bardoshtan, to pick up. Okay, Bizarit, so please put, and this is, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This is the sort of imperative form that is related to the subjunctive and so on. I don't know if I want to put that there because I can derive that, so I won't. So sok dasti, hold all. Sok, I think, is a sack, and dasti is a is hand, so handbag, right? Let me see if I can find, maybe what I'll do, I'll share this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm doing this on Google, looking up handbag. So that's different. That's kaif dasti. I bet there's sok dasti somewhere. Let's see. No, okay. Sok. Yeah, rucksack, bag, sack. This is going to be so janky the way that I'm going to do this. Let's get dusty now. This is so terrible. There are better ways to do this, but this is how I'm doing it right now. I could just write it myself, but sok dusty. Okay, this is almost exactly what I expected. A big old like handbag. This looks perfect. So we'll go to, oh, I didn't even add sock. Sounds like sock. Sock dusty. Handbag. And I'll keep it on the English side. I'm kind of, if you see my reviews later, you'll see that I'm alternating between whether the English or the Persian side has the word on it. Going to do vocabulary first and then more structures. I said I've been picking some not safe for public transit pictures for my flashcard. When possible, it's really helping the vocab retention, isn't it? Though this is naughty mnemonics. Yeah. I have one that's like a little. It is still okay for public transit. It's okay for live streaming. Like if I review, I don't want people to see my reviews and be like, oh my god, let's demonetize that. But there was one where it was like the pencil is under the chair or something, and one of the pictures that comes up on Google is like totally a workplace harassment situation. But it was memorable, and now I remember the word medad, zire, sandaliye. So nafar, one person when counting. So it's like a, that makes sense to me. Maybe it's the Chinese influence. Nafar, person when counting. So like modo nafar hastim or something like that. I'm not even going to add anything else. Cheese, a thing. Delicious. Thing. Let's see if I can really reinforce the cross-linguistic pun here. Cheese, thing. I actually love that a cheese grater comes up when you Google cheese thing. You get a cheese grater. Google is doing wonderful. Should I do? I think I'll do this monster though, as my mnemonic, and that's great because he's made of cheese. So this is delightful, cheese thing. Chos is special. Okay, let's chos. I guess I should probably just. Well, I'll keep doing the Google Translate way. That's an easy way of doing it if you haven't changed your keyboards around. So special Haas. I know somebody who used to go by Haas, and he was special. Oh, whoops. That's so I can Google an image. Haas, if you're watching, I love you. And there's nobody like you. Okay, so I'm getting, sometimes I like to search in Persian, but what I'm getting now is like clearly inspirational quotes, which is fine. So let me see if I can find something for special. Nope, speak Hal. You're going to get comedy specials. Great. Special Olympics. Nope, that's not okay as a mnemonic. I'm not doing that. All right, that's not going to work. So I'm just going to remember Khas is special, and I will not be using that poor little girl as my mnemonic. Cheesy means something in Persian, like a thing. The indefinite marker e, cheesy. Yeah. Sok dusty, I believe, is cognate with sac. I think it's from French. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case. There's a lot that's borrowed from French. And dasti is hand. So dastpocht is like handmade, home cooked. And we saw, like, what do we see? We saw dastetun dard nakone or something like that. Like, may your hand not hurt. Bishtar, mostly or more. Let's do this. Bishtar, more. I'm just adding, like I'm just dumping these words in. Let's go. Le boss, we've already done. So you start, once you do this, you actually recognize, you're like, wait a minute, I've seen that word before. Vassayel, that's, I want that to be from French, but that could go either way. Could be Arabic. Means or things. Vessels, right? Vessel. I see Dast almost sounds like it could be distant cognate with Dexter. It probably is. You know what? I can't resist. Let's find out. I bet it is. Let's see. Dexter. Oh, maybe I'm going to be lazy again. Hand. Dast. Every time I say Dast, I think Daz, Disco Jazz by Brick. I can't not think that. Okay, Dast. From Middle Persian with the just super cool, look at that script. Look at that. From the Old Persian, look at that script. Dasta. From Proto-Iranian, Yasta, or Jasta, I don't know which one that is. Probably Jasta. From Jastas. Is that from Gestos? We're going to a weird place now. Okay. Dast, das, zasta, lust, las, da. So you see all the da, la, like a tip of the tongue kind of stuff from Ges. Oh man, we're going all the way back. Proto-Indo-European. It goes all the way back for Proto-Indo-European for hand. Let's see. Avestan, zasta. So again, look at these writing systems. These are great. Hasta, Greek cheir, and Latin here. Huh. Not what we expected. Glad I looked it up. And Vasael, I see, is Arabic. Yeah. I figured it. It looked too perfect for French. Here. Luxembourgish. Nope, different word. Okay, so let's go back. What is the etymology? We're looking for Dexter now. See how that relates. That probably goes back, but we'll find out. English. We want Latin. When do we want it? From Dex, right. So Dorost is probably related to Dexter, but Dast is not. From Dekos, that which is proper. So Dorost is related. So fun fact, Dast is not directly related to Dexter, but Dorost is. Okay. Vasayel means with things. Shakhsi, personal. Shakhsi, that's from Arabic for sure. Um, Having to do with a person, shakhsi. I don't think I need a mnemonic for that. If you do, get a picture, do whatever you need. I don't need one. Vasayele shakhsi, so personal effects. That makes sense, and that's super Arabic, right? Vasayele shakhsi. That's putting those together, but I'm going to do it anyway. Shakhsi. Your affaire in French, right? Mes affaires. Belongings. I'll put French for myself. Affaires. Mes affaires. Vasayele shakhsi. Cam, a little, I know. Cami, a little, I know. Soqat is a souvenir. So, man, soqat. I'm going to hear them say this and clean that up later. But this will be a picture. We'll get a little Eiffel Tower or something. Maybe a snow globe. The fact that it starts with the transliteration starts with the same letters as souvenir is going to help me. Soqat. Boom, this is perfect. Soqat. I could just do this as a picture, but I'll actually give myself the word here. Soqat. And we'll listen to their pronunciation in a minute and improve here. Qabel, qabeli. Qabel is worth or worthy, qabeli. So this is just so they can teach us qabeli nadorat, right? Like it's not worthy. We're not worthy. I'll definitely put Wayne's World for that. Khohesh, that's just to teach Khohesh Mukanam, which is a politeness thing. Lavazem, appliances. I don't need this, but you never know. In the chat, let me know, did I tell the rainforest and Russian story? Let me know. I'll tell you that story if I didn't tell it. Lavazem is appliances. Let's see what comes up because I'm a little confused about what they mean exactly. Lavazem. And then Google's got another word here. So lavazem. Let's see. I'm glad I looked this up because this is like, it's not appliances. This is sort of desktop stuff. All right, I got a request for the Russian rainforest story. Kirsten, if you're watching this, love you. A friend of mine studied Russian for a while. She actually took on like multiple jobs to pick up the slack and pay for her brother to study in Russia for like a while. Like just pick up some of the slack on it to make sure that they could afford it. And he was there for like, I want to say like 6 months. This is back when I worked at Rosetta Stone. She came to me and she's like, I got to learn Russian in 6 months. I want to go surprise them in St. Petersburg. So we worked together. She used Rosetta Stone. We talked about the grammar a little bit. She just studied and studied and studied and studied and did surprise him in Russian and speak Russian. She actually spent 3 days in Russia not speaking Russian and pretending not to understand. And then on the third day, it was like, I think I get the hang of this. I think I understand. And just started speaking Russian, which just like melted her brother's brain. It was great. That's like the kind of prank that I can get behind. It's amazing. Anyway, Rosetta Stone has a thing where they're like, here's different parts of the world. Like here's the woods and here's the mountains and here's the rainforest. And she was like, when am I ever going to need rainforest in Russian? And I was like, I don't know. You never know. Like, because they talk about everything. Like I have never been to the rainforest, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a word for it and can't discuss it. And she's like, I don't know. This feels like a waste of my time. She told me that when she was there, she was in a restaurant. They had the TV on and it was on like a National Geographic type thing. They're talking about the world, like Planet Earth kind of thing, like BBC. And they started narrating about, all of the things having to do with the environmental challenges for, you guessed it, the rainforest. And she's like, at that moment, she's like, Jones. Because it turned out it was actually really useful. And it was just like, you never know what's going to be useful. All right, so lavazem. What does this say? Khangi. I bet lavazem khangi is going to be like home. Yeah. Oh, khunegi. We just talked about deriving things. Khunegi. Gorosnegi. Okay. Home appliances as opposed to like desk appliances. So this is great. I learned this. Lavazem. I'm going to do appliances, and I'll just leave it with that picture because that's what actually comes up, and it kind of clues me into this. Barky. That's really hard for me to say. Barky. And that is electric. Boogie, oogie, oogie, oogie. It's electric. Electrical. So, fakat, I've seen before. I don't need rish. I don't need rish tarosh. Shaver. Khosh begzare. Have a nice time. Okay, so I know all these. So, barki. So, lavazeme barki. That's going to be what he says, right? Do you have any electric? Yeah, lavazeme barki darid. And he says, fakat yek rish tarosh daram. Rish tarosh. That's a beautiful word. I love this stuff, like beautiful words in other languages. Rish tarosh. What does it mean? Electric shaver. Rish tarosh. Which you'd think wouldn't be relevant, but I actually use an electric shaver. I don't use a razor when I trim everything. Zevel, you probably know why. And so, if I lose one, or if I need to buy one, or if mine, craps out while I'm gone, I probably actually need to know Rish tarosh. Let me find one on my Google here. No, I don't want dictation. Okay. Electric razor. I love these guys. Like, it feels so good. No, dude, you got little scissors over your face. Okay. Rish tarosh. All right, now we're getting into the fun stuff. We're going to do some audio for these. Beautiful words in other languages. The Persian word for snow is barf. The Malayalam word for dog is dog. Completely unrelated to English, by the way. It's pure coincidence. All right, let's do this. Let's chamedune tuno bezori ru miz lotfan. So bezori, put it on the table. Let's go to track 53, I think it is. All right, it's going to be that British guy that we all like.
Unit 6,
Unit
Dialogue
6.
2. Going through customs.
Going through customs. See if you can have a listen.
What does the
Yeah, what does she ask?
What does the passenger want to know?
Oh my god.
Who is
There's so many questions.
چمدونتون رو بذارید رو میز لطفاً.
Notice he's slightly louder than everybody else. It's mildly annoying. Okay, export. Although it's actually really helpful for figuring out when they start talking. Chamedunetun. Oh, so. Chamedunetuno. Everybody loves when I speak Persian. Chamedunetuno. Chamedunetuno. Let me find a picture of like put your thing on the table. Put your, let's see, airport security and what do we want? Suitcase table. Pretty good. Let's see. This'll do. Actually, wait, what kind of card do I want to make? I want to make a close deletion. Okay. Chamedunetun. Oh. What'd you say? Ruye. Bezarid rumiz lotfan. So put on the table. Bezarid. Bezarid. Rumiz lotfan. Please put it on the table. I'm on 20 watch list by Googling that. I didn't Google it in Persian. Probably on. I actually am certain that I'm not on any watch list. And I will not be taking questions at this time about how I know. Okay. Okay, let's. I always do the picture second, even though I shouldn't. And what I've learned recently is put the translation above the picture because it's annoying when you can't see it below and you're using one hand and lying in bed. Please put your suitcase on the table. Now, I probably won't need this exact sentence, but all the elements of it are useful. Let me get my audio here. Chamdun tuno. Another beautiful word in Persian. I just love Persian. It sounds gorgeous, no matter what you're saying.
چمدونتون رو بذارید رو میز لطفاً.
Okay, please, and I'll just for my own sake, I'll highlight which things I want to put here. Put. Have I ever been in Israel? I have not. Was thinking about it for the fall of this year, and that did not pan out. Okay, in sok dastiro ham bezaram, so should also my sok dasti. Some of the words maybe don't sound as beautiful as others. I'll admit. In sok dasti ro ham bezaram. Gotta get my bezaram. Oh man. Do I have a honestly perfect. It's like the next picture right here. I always forget that it puts the picture at the top. Annoyingly. Okay. This handbag too. Okay, let's hear how she says this so I can actually get my bezorams together. Bezorim. Bezoram. Let's zoom in.
این ساک دستی رو هم بذارم.
In sok dastira bezoram. It's it, ram, ham.
این ساک دستی رو هم بذارم.
He says ram.
این ساک دستی رو هم بذارم.
It's supposed to be ham, right? Is that just he messed up? I see in the chat, Persian sounds like if Rosewater were a language. I have to learn how to say that in Persian. So when anybody asks me why did you study Persian, I'll say, well, because Persian sounds like if Rosewater, age. I should look up Rosewater in here. If Rosewater were a language, that is perfect. Now that's our biases based on, already associating Rosewater with Persian, but that is delightful. Zevel, I appreciate the invite.
این ساک دستی رو هم بذارم.
In Sakdasti ram. He's saying ram. It's definitely ham. Oh, row ham. Okay. This one we're gonna do a little light phonetics, phonetic analysis, linguistics. In Sakdastiro ham. The H disappears in ham, like all the time, because H's disappear. That's what they do. And ram, it becomes ram. Man, okay, let's look at this. Let's actually see. Boom. All right.
این ساک دستی رو هم بذارم.
Prod is so slow. Okay, in Sakdas. This has got to be E ram. Sti. No, okay.
دستی رو هم بذارم.
So sa is this, T, and then this is going to be ram. Okay, so this is the ra, ram.
ram.
So if for those of you playing along with the home game, you should be able to see what I have highlighted here. Yeah, you can see it. So down at the bottom here, these thick lines are the formant values. When they move, when they have an angle or something like that, instead of being just flat, that would indicate a change in the vowel. If they're just flat across, then whatever the distance is between them indicates what the vowel is, but it's a steady state. This looks basically like a steady state, like it's not ram, but just ram. Ram. Okay, so that is worth knowing. Like that is worth knowing that I need to be listening for ram instead of whatever ro ham. That is delightful. That is just, I'm really glad I made this card. Do I want to quit Prat? Yes, I do. As usual, to my beloved wife, Chanomam, Mushmusham, Junam, let me know if you need me to stop because we have made it past the hour mark. And otherwise, I'm going to keep going for maybe another 10, 15 minutes. Okay, Chaim Shali. Junam. Mushmusham. That's the stuff you gotta learn in Persian. Oh, no close deletion. Sorry, I gotta actually give a close deletion. I'm gonna do no sak dasti and bezoram. And roham will just be a bonus for me. And what did she say?
بله لطفاً.
Bale lotfan. I don't need to memorize that.
بفرمایید.
Befarmayin. Okay, normal.
چند نفرید؟ چند نفرید؟
Chan nafarid. Okay, see here, golob is rosewater. Oh yeah, so gol like flower and ob like water. So instead of abe golab. That makes sense. Let's listen.
چند نفرید؟
So chand nafar becomes chan nafar because the two ends. It's actually really hard to release a d there. So chan nafarid. That's how many are you? We got this here. Chan nafarid. So how many nafar are you? How many heads of people are you? You know what? I'm not going to export that audio. I don't need that. Do nafar mano chanomam. So that's fine. Chi darid. Is that what do you have? Very, very simple. I'm okay. Good news. I can play for 15 more minutes. Bad news. No, I'm not going to share the bad news. But it does remind me of the word for pants, shalvor. Okay, chidorid. So chidorid, chi, ke. You know, what do you have? Chize chasi nadarim. So I don't have anything special. We don't have anything special. Bishtar, mostly lebas of vasayele shakhsi. So shakhsi. Bishtar lebas of vasayele shakhsi. Mostly clothes and personal items. That sounds super suspicious for customs, though. Let's be real. Like, not a big deal. It's mostly clothes. Okay. Who else has seen your
دو
bag?
نفر.
Do nafar. Okay, and he's going to pause and he's say,
من و خانمم.
Mano chanomam.
چی دارید؟
Chi darid.
چیز خاصی نداریم.
Chize chosin nadorim. That sounds so suspicious. I love it. Okay, cheese a chosi nadorim. I honestly, I wonder what happens if I Google, like, we don't have anything special. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing special. I'll probably get memes. That's fine. چیز خاصی نداری. چیز خاصی نداریم. This is fine. I don't like to just straight translate, but this will be fine. Oh, that's the extra. Never mind. Because I'm still doing close deletion, so I'll have right here. Don't have anything special. چیز خاصی نداریم. چیز خاصی sounds like a really lame insult. بیشتر لباس وسایل شخصی. Okay, so بیشتر. These dialogues take way longer than the exercises. So if I get to the exercises, you'll see what I mean. So let me go faster. O وسایل شخصیه. چیز خاصی نداریم. Okay. Mostly clothes and personal belongings. So I should just do open suitcase, right? Like empty. There we go. Really, there's a difference between cheese chassi nadorim and heat cheese. Okay. Mostly clothes and personal effects. I think that was the word I was looking for before. Bishtar Vasile shakhsi. I'll give myself a close deletion for that as well. So there's some repeats in what I'm doing here. This is probably not the most efficient way of doing it, but I get a lot of stuff. I see sounds Hasidic and sounds like a really good cheesy pancake. Yeah, so I guess what we're gathering is it's like a Shavuos treat. Latkes used to be cheese before there were potatoes, because potatoes are a New World tuber. Fun fact. Another fun fact, Jews are the ones who introduced tomatoes to Italy. It was Jewish merchants. Crazy history. Just the history of the world is wild. Kami ham sokat. So kami, a little also souvenirs. That's cool word order. Kami ham sokat. And I got to hear him say this, because this is I just need to work on my pronunciation. Got to get my listening together. So I'm going back to find the same picture of souvenirs that I had before. I'll do a different one. Kami ham sokat. All right. I see somebody saying, wow, really? Yeah, the food history is wild. Next time you have people arguing over shakshuka, just remind them that the tomato comes from North America. Let's see, and a few souvenirs. Okay, so this one I will add my audio.
چیز خاصی نداریم.
Did I add چیز خاصی to the last one? I don't think I did. Good news, there's history, so I can go to چیز خاصی, see what's on the card. Yeah, I didn't add the extra, so let me do this. چیز خاصی نداریم. Okay, cheesy hussy. Whatever gets it into your brain, I'm not going to judge.
چیز خاصی نداریم.
Oh, no, that was, whoops, I don't want that. I want it in here.
چیز خاصی نداریم.
And how many times have I listened to it now? That's great too.
بیشتر لباس و وسایل شخصیه.
Okay, so let's add this. I'll just do Bishtar, so I'll know what that is. Bishtar. Okay. چیز خاصی نداریم. بیشتر
لباس و وسایل شخصیه.
لباس و وسایل شخصی. I do see the appeal to some people of shadowing. I don't really like it, but I get how it could work for some.
کمی هم سوغات.
What?
کمی هم سوغات.
So hot.
کمی هم سوغات.
So hot. That is a lot of frication. I'm going to export this one and we'll look at this in prod as well, because I feel like that's really so hot. So hot. Kami am so hot. It's almost like a French R.
کمی هم سوغات.
Kami am so hot. Open with prod. Have I watched Sam Arono's Jewish History series? His series is great. Took me a while to get used to like the images of him, but also if you've seen the ones where it's not images, it's like him talking to camera. I understand why he makes that choice. Kami am so hot. Yeah. Okay. So, oh yeah. Do you hear that? I feel like I could. Okay, so voiceless. This bit up here is frication, and then this is like boom. That's like the something closing there. That's becoming. That is cool. What is this, like 40 milliseconds? That's crazy. Crazy. Let's take a look. Oh, what's the distance here? About 30 milliseconds. So longer than like a trill, like a ra sound. Although in between is a little bit less. That is so hot. So hot. Oh, yeah, sochot. Swimming. They're swimming. Yeah, hen sochot. Swimming and souvenirs from Iran. Keep thinking about the two like Israeli characters in the beginning of Tehran, the Apple TV show. Kamiham sochot. Sochot. Man, my accent's gonna be all over the place.
برای من.
Baraman for me.
برای من.
And that one sounds like she's saying Bareman. Let's do this. Barayeman. I bet there's probably a great picture for me. For men. For me. There we go. Delightful. Yeah. I'll just do the picture. No, I'm not doing Google Lens. No. What have I done? All right. I don't want close deletion. I just want... Honestly, I know Baroyaman, but I want to have this so I just hear it a bunch of times said this way. Baroyaman. Baraman. Okay, did I get the audio out here?
برای من.
Done. All right. Gonna wrap this up pretty soon.
برای من.
قابلی نداره.
قابلی نداره. That's politeness formulation that I need in my life. قابلی نداره. Para mí. Okay. قابلی نداره. I should just see if there's a picture for that. Here's the fun thing about Google. You can do this. Oh, the former is rare. That's... Did you mean قابلی نداره? I did. It's not possible. It's like more like it's not worthy, right? All right, fine. I give up. Wayne's World it is. قابلی نداره. You'll notice as I'm doing this, I just keep saying this stuff over and over and over again. Because that works. And I don't know why. Somebody here should probably point out that I already made one that was just this, but
قابلی نداره.
I'm adding the audio here, so I'll have two. I'll just bury one of them when I get to it. So it's not the most efficient approach, but I really don't care that much.
برای من.
قابلی نداره.
خواهش میکنم. خب لوازم برقی دارید؟
خب.
قابلی نداره.
Okay.
خواهش میکنم. خب لوازم برقی دارید؟ لوازم برقی دارید؟ لوازم برقی دارید؟ لوازم برقی دارید؟
Sounds like it says barque, but I know barque is the word. I'm going to start wrapping up pretty soon. And then I don't know. I'm actually going to be traveling next Sunday, so I'm not sure that I can do a live stream like this. I may have to switch around what day of the week it is, or maybe this is it for a little while.
لوازم برقی دارید؟
Let me do a close deletion card here. لوازم برقی می دارید؟ لوازم برقی دارید؟
لوازم برقی دارید؟
دارید. Okay. Do you have any electrical appliances? just first picture I found that looked moderately like it had anything to do with this. And really Barke is the, you know, I'll do love it. I'll do both parts. Boom. Okay, so hopefully it's not Saturday. Vincent, it's never going to be Saturday. I'm never going to have a live stream on Saturday.
فقط یک ریش تراش دارم.
Unless it's Saturday night, but the nights are getting later and later.
فقط یک ریش تراش دارم.
Rish Tarash. Okay, I think I can finish this out and then call it a day. Fagat I already know, but Rish Tarash, so I'm going to write Rish Tarash as my way of finding this. Rish Tarash. Fagat yek Rish Tarash Doram. So you can see my grammar, I'm still like way back in the textbook, but I'm dumping everything in, and the stuff that I've already done is coming along. So every day I'm trying to add like maybe 50 example sentences or words or whatever. Like I just take the exercises and go. Let's see, man with electric razor. How about that? And the more that I just dump this in, the more I hear, the more I see. I'm soaking it up. Man with electric razor, come on. Why are you not going? Let's try again. Great. Perfect. Half-shaved face. If he had two, he could shave faster. Rish Tarash. Rish is your beard. Okay. Almost done with the whole thing, and then I will be taking nap time in a minute.
متشکرم.
Well, check it out. I already know.
متشکرم. بفرمایید.
بفرمایید. So, like, please.
خوش بگذره.
خوش بگذره. I already know.
خوش بگذره.
So that is that. Now, since I've basically run out of time, what I will do is just tell you really quickly that I might take this, where it has more examples. I'm going to take these examples, boom, Anky card. And it's literally just going to be nishas down on one side, sit down on the other side. Or, you know, I am sitting and mishinam on the other side. And just boom, 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 like as many of these as I can. Just go through special cases. Cool. I can literally put like bastan and then I'll say like past, bastan, present, band on the other side. So just going to dump all of that in there. A lot of it I already know, but, you know, it's not going to hurt to review it this way. And then let's see, exercises, give me an exercise. So here, just go to the index, the appendix with all the answers, and literally, lotfan injo beshinid, that's going to be a card. I might have a picture on one side of somebody like offering a seat. I might have who knows what, but it's literally just every exercise, unless it's a repeat. Several. You got it. All right, so this is it. It is nap time as determined by the little, you know, dictator in our home, and I want to say thank you all. We're basically at the end of this textbook. I'm coming up on this trip. I will see if I can live stream while I'm gone. I'll post it in advance if I do, but it might not be until not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after. And even then, that depends on Wi-Fi and bandwidth and all of that stuff. So this has been a great 7 weeks. Hopefully we get an 8th week. I see Bach is lightning. That's really good to know. I'm really looking forward to it. This has been tremendous for me. There's a handful of names that I see week over week, and I really have appreciated studying with all of you. And I'll try to keep this up. You can always find me at thelanguagejones@gmail.com. My website's Language Jones. You can message me. You can leave comments. I do read the comments on YouTube. So, we can keep this going. And then in a little while, you'll see how it went. I got to finish dumping all the Anky deck, all the words into Anky. But I'm really excited to go have a lot of ice cream and Persian food and so on. Just received a text saying maybe don't call her a little dictator. She's in charge. She's the imperator. She is the empress. She is the queen. She is the ruler. Am I going to drop a video this week? The plan is to. I have written 4 or 5 scripts. The plan is to film everything and start dropping week over week. So there's something every week. All right. So thank you all. I really appreciate it. Motshakirem, as always. Merci. Happy studying. And I'll see you all soon, but probably not next Sunday. We'll see. Hopefully a time works for everybody, but it is what it is, and you can watch it on a replay. So thanks again. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I wish me luck, and I wish you all luck as well. All right, ending the stream. Good luck, good night, goodbye.